taken, because the Lord laid a snare for Babylon, meaning a trap. Because everything that Esau is doing today, he's basically doing it to set himself up for a trap, you know. So whatever he's doing is building these bombs and scaring people in the world, you know, to be afraid and accept this so-called New World Order for fear of these nuclear missiles being shot, or for fear of constant war going on. The Lord set that up for a snare, because they built those actual missiles, but they're going to actually use them. That's what's going to bring their total demise. The thing that they use to scare the nations into accepting their democracy and their Christianity and whatever other avenue they have, or other philosophies or doctrines that they have, is the very same thing that the Most High is going to use to destroy them. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And how did they strive against the Lord? First and foremost, by claiming to have taken the knowledge of the scriptures and broken that. And second of all, by putting Israel into captivity and beating them and whipping them, which is the Most High's, the apple of the Most High's eye.
You had read something, and it said that thou was not aware. They're not going to be, in other words, they're going down. Their kingdom is crumbling before their eyes, and they're not aware of it. They're talking about what they're going to do, how things are going to get better, how the U.S. is going to get their AAA credit rating back. Well, that's not going to happen, man. How Mitt Romney is going to save the day, and he's going to become the new president, and everything's going to go back to the good old days. That ain't going to happen, man. You're going down. That's why in the polls among all these Republican candidates, you know, 1 week is Mitt Romney, the next week is Ron Paul, the next week it's Newt Gingrich, the next week is Santorum. So they're jumping back and forth, because really the so-called Republicans, they're not satisfied with a candidate. They don't know what the hell to do. They're fickle people. And these guys are singing the same old song. And they really believe that America's going to come back to its greatness. America's not going to come back to its greatness. Just like the Babylonians had a time to rule and went down. Just like Egypt had a time to... Egypt had a long rule. Egypt was in power over the Israelites for 400 years. And they finally went down. So now it's your turn. Now anyway, he read... In that last verse, he read that they were not aware, right? Now, I'd like you to read this. This is from the book Imperial Rome on page 41. And I want you to start from the top and read down.
Okay. All right. This is End of Greatness, chapter 7. It says that the 3 centuries between the great age of Marcus Aurelius and the overwhelming of...
Now, to get an understanding of Marcus Aurelius, that's the father of Commodus. You can watch that movie to get an idea of this guy. You can, or this Caesar rather. You can watch the movie. What's the name of that movie? Gladiator, with Russell Crowe, and that's talking about the king, the old ruler, the old Caesar, I should say. That's Marcus Aurelius, and that's in the first scene, the opening scene, was a battle that they had with the Germanians. And every time they turned around, they were going to war, man. And during that time, it was, in the movie, it was Commodus that set up his father to kill his father and assume the throne of Caesar. And what this guy did, Commodus did, he gave the people bread and he gave the people a lot of games. In other words, the chariot races and mainly the gladiatorial events. And that's what kept the people going. In other words, their version of sports. Like now you have the NASCAR, Indy 500, you have the NBA, the playoffs coming up not too long in the future, the championships, you got the Super Bowl coming up, these different boxing events, the UFC. and they all have these events and arenas that look just like the amphitheaters back in ancient Rome. And that's why we say that this is Rome all over again. This is the last leg of the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
The 3 centuries between the great age of Marcus Aurelius and the overwhelming of Rome by barbarians in the 5th century AD is often called the epic of Rome's decline and fall. But Romans who lived in those centuries did not know it was falling.
They're just like the scripture said, they were not aware. But you go to, one day we're going to do you know what we're going to do? We're going to do guy on the street interviews, you know, and just ask Edomites what they think about America, what they think about the future of America. And I already know what the answer is going to be. We're going to do better. You know, Mitt Romney's going to get up in there and we're going to go back to the good old days. You know, if you Negroes don't watch it, we might put you back in slavery. That's what these devils are thinking. They don't think that there can be an end, because Americans are not astute when it comes to ancient history. When it comes to history, period. But ancient history, ancient civilizations, all ancient civilizations, all ancient empires had a great beginning, a great middle, and a great end. A devastating end. Read that again.
It says, but Rome, it says, 5th century AD is often called the epic of Rome's decline and fall. But Romans who lived in those centuries did not know it was falling. To them, the business of empire appeared to go on as usual.
Let me say this. Right on this page, now the writers of this book, they knew history, because right next to it, they had the 4 tetrarchs, which I'm gonna just give you the names of them off the top of my head. Diocletian, I believe he was the head one. Constantius, which was the father of Constantine. Guerrillius, and I think Maximian was the 4. And this is a famous, matter of fact, you can read the caption right there, and it's actually standing to this day. Okay? Because when the Roman Empire went down, the Roman Empire was still in power, but Jake came in. But it was a white rulership of the Roman Empire that went down. That was known as the pagan Roman Empire. And then when Constantine came in, it was known as the Holy Roman Empire, which wasn't all that holy any damn way, because he was a sun worshiper. He's a pagan. Hey, go ahead.
It says, sharing the rule, the tetrarchs, whom Diocletian, second from right, established to help administer the empire in 293 AD, are shown embracing in the stone sculpture now standing in the Piazza di San Marco in Venice.
Yeah, this was about a good 30 some odd years before Constantine the Great came into power, and one of these gentlemen in the statue here was Constantine's father, Constantius. And if you look at the picture real closely, you can see, where's that standing to this day? In Venice?
Yep, and Piazza di San Marco in Venice.
Piazza di San Marco in Venice. All right? Now, if you look at this, if you have enough money to go over there and actually see the statue, but you can look at the picture, you can see that they chipped off all the noses, and you can see the features of their head that they're black people. You can see the beards on their faces, which proved that they were Israelites. All right? Is that it on that? Go ahead.
It says, to them, the business of empire appeared to go on as usual.